What's up? What's up? Happy Wednesday. Listen, it's Wednesday, 9 a.m. on the East Coast, and y'all know what that means. It's time for Live with Nana. And yes, look who is to my left or right or wherever she is on this screen. And I'm not even going to get into all the introductions of her quite yet, because I know you like the curls are popping. Who is she? I want to know. Hold on. What I want to say though quickly is welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for tuning in again. If this is your first time, hello. My name's Nana Badu. I'm an image consultant, I'm a speaker, I'm a stylist, and I love all things about helping Black women, women of color, really enter their boldest and most authentic self through style. And today's guest is somebody who I have chatted with in the internet streets of LinkedIn. And now we are bringing the fun kikis that we've had on some discovery calls. We are bringing that here to this live session today. So let me give her the proper introduction she deserves. Okay, this is the Amber J. Adams. All right. She is a career and leadership coach. She's also a speaker and a workshop facilitator. And she really helps mid-career millennials overcome stagnation. Come on, clarify your vision and develop a strategy and the confidence to build the next phase of your career. So, listen, if you are feeling like you've been in a funk in that career space, and whether you're there now or you've been there, you understand what it's like.
Yeah.
Amber's going to help you get all the way through it. All right. So, welcome, Amber.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited because I know we're about to have a lot of fun. And whoever is catching this live, if you catch it on the replay, settle down, sit back. We're about to have a really good time.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And we've already got Dr. Michelle in the discussion. She's like, this is fire and much needed. Pop on in the comments, say a hello. And like Amber said, if you catch us on replay, drop replay in the comments too, because we want to know that you're tuning in. All right. So Amber, let's get into this. I want you to
Okay.
just tell us more about your career journey, right? Tell us about your journey and your career and what led you to this space of really focusing on that mid-career funk. Tell us what happened.
Oh, okay. So what happened was, um, so I started my career as a journalist, which was not the best time to do that, I would say. So I work in mid-career. I'm also a millennial, and we know that as millennials, we have been kind of going through it for a minute. So things have changed in the career spaces. We have seen industries rise and fall. We have seen a difference in how we approach our careers, how we think about longevity. Do we want to stay here? Maybe we want to do something different. And a lot of different shifts have happened. And I had a lot of those shifts happen to me. So, one of my earliest career experiences, I experienced seeing what it looked like when people got laid off and fired and things shifted. And I was like, whoa, I was in my like early 20s. No one prepared me for what it would look like when everything could just be gone in a moment. And then moving further into my career, I started having different experiences. So I like to say that I am a career coach who has not had the perfect career. I'm not someone who stands here and says that everything has gone hunky dory for me. Absolutely not. I've had the difficult conversations, the difficult moments, and all of these things kind of culminated with me asking myself, what am I doing? What the heck is going on? What do I want to do next? I'm feeling like a lot of ways I'm just going through the motions. I sat at tables that I felt were not the right ones for me, where my talent wasn't able to really shine, and where I just had to take a step back and say, okay, life life is unpredictable. It could be short, it could be long. Either way, you want to make the most of it. And our careers are a big part of that. I know you have some people who say, oh, I collect the paycheck and go home. I don't believe that's true for anybody, because our careers impact how we show up in our lives, how we show up for the people that we love, if we get to spend the time with the people that we love. And so all of these things really just started to come together for me in moments of questioning. And then I started getting coaching. I was like, okay, something has to give, right? And I know that that can be a scary space for people when you're trying to decide, am I going to do something about this? And I have finally gotten to the point where I was like, I got to do something. I started working with coaches, and it had kind of always been in my mind because I was always that employee, that coworker who would be the one in the conference rooms with people, helping them navigate the tricky career situations. If any of my former
Wow.
colleagues are watching, they will tell you we would have the conference room booked out because they would say, Amber, I need help with this. I don't know how to navigate this. How am I going to approach this? Because I've always been in the communication storytelling space. So I always have brought that energy around helping people to really think through, one, their personal narrative, what's going on internally, but also who do you want to be to the world? And so I got to a space where I was able to take these things and combine them. I went to Brown University and got my leadership and executive coaching certification. And then I built Amber Career Studio to help mid-career because I am a millennial ride or die for the generation. I was like, I've got to be in the arena, in the mud with my people, saying, okay, one, because I firmly believe that when we think about leadership, we've got next, right? We're going to inherit all of these systems, these companies, all of it, even though sometimes we don't act like it, but we can get into that later. We're going to inherit these things, and we have got to prepare ourselves, but we got to be right within, right? We've got to start with ourselves first. We've got to lead ourselves first. And so that's really how I got into the mid-career space and really seeing how in this space, there's a lot of funkiness that goes on. For me, obviously exciting because I'm a coach, but for my clients and peers and friends and just people I have conversations with, I really find that when you get to mid-career, when you have, 10, 15, 20 years behind you in the career space, you get to a fork in the road. And you're like, am I doubling down on what I have been doing? Or am I going to make some shifts and go in a different direction? And being in that space is like,
This.
it's funky.
It's
It's funky.
funky. It's
Mm-hmm.
funky. Oh my gosh. Okay. So much in what you shared around your personal journey. And I wanna play back some themes I heard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
one, coaches get coaches.
Coaches get coaches. You can't
Right?
coach if you've never had a coach.
Don't come on
Because then tell me, how can you say that you believe in what you're doing? That we could do a whole show about that, to be
about
honest.
that,
But that's
right?
the whole thing.
Right? Because I
Yes.
like sometimes you could be in this space, like you say, you were the one in the conference room helping your colleagues to
Yeah.
navigate questions, the narrative, the story,
Mm-hmm.
how to just problem solve
Yeah.
things. And then you realize, like, well, let me reflect the mirror on myself because
Yes.
I'm at a fork in the road. What do I want to do next? Like, there's layoffs and shifts happening. Where do I go? So I love the fact that you had a moment where you said,
Mm-hmm.
I need to make an investment in myself. Um,
Yes.
I think that was super, super huge. So, okay. So I'm curious because you mentioned this at the end of what you shared
Mm-hmm.
around the folks you're working with in that fork in the road, right?
Yes.
So for my folks, because I think we got some more here, because Danielle said this conversation is exactly what I've been feeling. So
Mm.
if you are that girl right now sitting here and you're at that fork in the road, right? And you've got 10 years behind you or less, but you feel like I've
Yeah.
got experience in this certain field, and you're questioning, do I leave the company? Do I double down, like you said, and be like 10 toes deep? I'm about to go be a partner, whatever. Or am I just like, actually, I think I'm having a midlife crisis and I want to be a circus clown? Like, what? What? I mean, what? Or travel the world? What? Like,
I've done that too.
come
Yeah.
tell the people. Like,
Yeah.
how how do you talk through with your clients and even yourself when you're at
Mm.
that work?
Yes. I think what has been key for me and also for my clients and really bringing that into that space is recognizing, okay, I'm at a fork in the road, but how do I feel at this fork? Because what I have discovered is that there are three distinct things that could be happening,
Mm,
maybe a few. So we'll go within the theme of this is a moment of elevation, but also trepidation. So there's some trepidation happening,
mm,
but there's also a lot of space for elevation because I do believe that even though that space being at the fork in the road can feel confusing and it's funky, there is a lot of space for optimism there, especially if you are stepping into that awareness and you are saying something's got to give. I want to do something different. The way I'm operating right now and showing up, I need a shift, right?
yeah,
So the three things that I think that are important for people to recognize at that space, and this is what I ask my clients, where are you in the space? So what I've identified is three distinct phases. One, you could be at the rest space where you need to rest and reflect, right? These are my people who are like, I need clarity. I do not know what next looks like.
mm,
I don't know what I want because they have been operating, but
reflect.
they've been holding down their true voice for so long that
Mm,
they don't feel connected to what they want, or they've been telling themselves, I don't think it's possible. But that little voice inside of them is still like, hold up,
mm,
wait a minute now. You're not going to trample me down forever. And so they start feeling that trepidation, right?
yeah.
The second group of people that I've tended to work with and what I have found are people who are in the reset stage. So
Okay.
maybe they know more about what they want, but they need a strategy to figure out how am I going to get there. They need some accountability because sometimes you can know what you want, you can know what you need to do. The list can be written out,
Good.
but you still need somebody in there with you who's going to say, okay, so what are we doing? And I always say, as a coach, I'm not that coach that's like, you didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. I get curious with people. I want to know what's coming up for you. My clients will tell you, she's always like, what's coming up for you? Where do you feel that? Just questions that are really helping people to reconnect with what's going on for them and how they want to move themselves forward. So I like to say my reset people are the ones who maybe the shoulders have started moving. They're like, okay, I kind of got some things. They start feeling kind of excited, and we turn that into the momentum to move them forward. And
Mm,
then my third group of people really are stepping into their leadership era. And I use the word leadership because one, it can mean leadership in terms of they are actually stepping into roles where they have been, declared the leader of a team in a manager aspect, maybe a director, senior directors. I've had vice presidents, just people who are like stepping into this leadership era, or people who are just stepping into taking the lead finally in their career.
mm,
And what they discover is that what got them here won't get them there. I know, right? We got to have a moment. What got them here will not get them there. That they might be
that's
carrying
it.
around a lot of limiting beliefs, that the stories that they've had to either tell themselves to make their way through, maybe it's stories that have been put on them because they have had negative experiences or been in environments that were not nurturing for who they really are and how they want to operate, but they're still carrying that stuff with them. My clients will say all the time, I use the metaphor or the imagery because I'm a very visual person
Mhm.
of a backpack. And I say, what are you carrying in that backpack? You're lugging this backpack around with
Mm,
you. Is it heavy? Is it light? Oh my
mm.
God, sparkles. Oh my God, I love that.
Oh, wait a minute.
I do not know how we aha moment, but it just feels so
Ooh,
serendipitous. Yes. Oh, is your backpack light? Is it heavy? What are you holding on to and hanging on to? So that's really what I'm finding in that mid-career space and why you have the funkiness. That trepidation is there. We start off by acknowledging that,
yeah,
but we do believe, or I believe, and my clients believe, and it comes to me because they're like, this can also be a moment for elevation as well. And I
yeah,
absolutely love to be in that space with people and see them through that journey and say, okay, we're at the crossroads. We're standing here, we're building out your map, right? We're figuring out what that next step is going to be and which road we're going to now travel down and how we can get you down that road in a way that feels as best as it can for who you really are.
I love this. And I popped in the chat those three kind of stages that Amber talked about, that you could be at: that rest, that reset, and that leadership
Mm-hmm.
era. And I love the fact that, you know, if you're feeling stuck or at this place, hopefully you're understanding the importance of, like, what I'm hearing you share is like mindset, and also
Yeah.
like choice. Like,
Yes.
you have a choice. Like, you do have a decision to make, but you do have choices. And I think sometimes you can feel like,
You
I
don't.
don't know, right? You feel like, I'm not sure what I should do.
Yeah.
I don't really have too many choices. You feel so limited in your
Mm-hmm.
options. Um, and
Yeah.
listen, and the one part reason too, I'm bringing Amber on because, like, I have experienced this. Like, I remember being at IBM, working management consulting, and getting to that point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way you got to drag me up out this bed this morning to go and talk to these people, I was just slowly like, I need something else. And
Yes.
that's when a few, you know, some styling came into play, but I was like, that's not going to be my full-time thing. That's not going to pay the bills. Maybe I should go get my MBA, apply to B school. That didn't work out. Try to get another job. The door was closed.
Yeah.
You know, and it can be so defeating when you
Mm-hmm.
are making some of those choices. So one thing about your coaching philosophy that you talk about is like these three principles, you know, because we
Yeah.
love the power of three. And you talk about holistic, transformative, and authenticity. And
Yes.
first, when I saw this, I said, now, this is a girl who I be aligned with, because this is so aligned with the way that I approach my work and with women in
Mm-hmm.
the style space. So I want you to talk a little bit more about why and how you settled on these three elements and why they're important for someone who's watching right now who might be like, I ain't really thinking about it like that.
100%. I think the thing that when I set out to build my coaching practice, if you go to my website, you'll see plants. You're not going to see stock photography of people in business suits looking
Shade, no
awkward,
shade.
sitting around the table. Shade, no shade. Just truth, right? This is me being authentic right now. I didn't want any of that because I knew and I know that the career space can feel like chaos. It can feel like chaos. It can feel like you are out of control, that there's just all of this. You know, when I talk about that trepidation, I'm thinking about those feelings that come up and you're
Yeah,
just kind of like,
yeah,
oh.
yeah.
So I wanted to create a space that felt calm because I approach this through the lens of I'm not talking to you as your role. I don't care if you're the director of whoever, the
Ooh,
VP of yada, yada, yada. I'm talking to the person behind the role, which is very holistic. That is a very holistic way to approach career coaching because we're not just going to sit there and talk about the performance metrics and blah, blah, blah. If you want that, then that's totally fine. I'm not the woman for you. And
ooh.
so I want to make that very clear that I want to be in partnership with clients because it's a partnership. I tell my clients all the time, I'm not here, we're side by side, right? I want to be in partnership with people who understand that I'm trying to look at you and help you look at yourself as the person, not just the role. What do you really want next, right? And
Mhm.
so that's where the transformative piece comes in at where you're now like, okay, I'm creating the space. I have this moment of calm. I'm able to create the space to see what is the transformation that I need. What is
Mhm.
the transformation that I want to make? We talk about being in those spaces of needing to rest and reflect, to want the reset, to step into the leadership era. Those are all spaces of transformation where that can start to happen for you, where you are moving forward. Because the thing that happens in that mid career space, the funkiness is stuck, it's the stagnation. If you're something's not moving and flowing, it's gonna end up funky.
Right, right,
There's just
right.
no way around that. And so we're talking about the transformation. We're talking about getting you moving. And then when it comes to being authentic, as a millennial, and I know that any millennial who's out there watching mid-career, and I think this goes for Gen Z and Gen X as well, because although I focus on millennials and mid-career, I like to say that if you're feeling the vibe, if this is resonating with you,
Right.
then it's resonating with you. It doesn't matter your age or what stage you happen to be in. But we are known, and I think now we've gotten to this place where so much has happened that we've kind of tried to hide it a little bit. We've tried to say, how do I not make this important to me? But we are known for wanting to be authentic. We
Yeah.
want to show up as who we really are. We
Yeah.
want to bring that energy into whatever space we happen to be in, employment, entrepreneurship, whatever the case might be.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, this is me. I want to succeed as me. I want to lead as me. I do not want to feel like I have to hide the things that
Mm-hmm.
make me who I really am, because those are the things that people always connect with. And when you are operating in a space where you are really tapped into who you are, that's powerful. That's
That's
powerful. And that is the
mm.
type of coaching energy, business energy that I like to bring and that I like to work in. So yeah, those three words just,
Yes.
I feel like they set the stage for all that I do.
The thousand, like I need the background thing. Y'all saw that, right? When the whole background was like
No, how would you?
spirit, she's speaking magic.
That was amazing. I love
Oh
that.
my God, it was brilliant. I want it back.
All
And I
right.
want to be able to use it on command. And we'll figure out. So you getting so much love in the comments. Portia saying, yes, you got to check those limiting beliefs. And the backpack metaphor is amazing, a great
Mm.
visual, right? And this is so important. And I love the fact that you are so specific about millennials, right?
Yeah,
Because like I'm an 82 baby. So I'm right at the
you
end.
millennial.
Yep,
You
I'm right.
millennial.
And
We're what you call the elder millennial.
I'm,
But we got a little spice. We got a little flavor. It's fine.
okay.
Seen
And
some
it's
things. We've
true.
seen some things.
We've seen some things, but it's so true to what you said about how you want to show up. And you are like, yo, I don't want to hide. I don't want to conform. I don't want to just follow
Yeah.
any traditional path that I'm supposed to be on because I love you, mom and dad, but I don't want to do that no more.
Right?
Right. And we're like, feeling froggy, feeling froggy. And we leave, right?
Really? Yeah.
We leave. So so I feel like there's an element of just like a comfort level with risk
Mm-hmm.
too in there that
Mm.
millennials, like embrace when it comes to the career. And like you were saying with that stagnation piece, like, I don't
Yeah.
know if that's physics or whatever place of science that is, but I was literally thinking of like a stream of water. And if someone was
Yes.
older and it's like,
Yeah. You can't move.
you
You
can't
can't
you
move.
can't move. You can't
You can't
move,
move.
right?
This is very true. And
Um,
you know what else I think happens there, because you mentioned the word risk, that I think as we get older, we know we become more risk averse, right? But
mhm,
what I like to challenge my clients on is, let's become strategic. I'm not saying that you need to go jump and do something tomorrow, because I know, like, just like I got bills, we got bills, right? I
tell
do
it.
not pretend that that's not a thing.
Yeah.
But how can we be strategic about how
Mhm,
you want to move forward? How can we be
mhm,
strategic about what you need to do? How can we be strategic about really pushing up against those limiting beliefs? Because that's what's happening. We need to be strategic about how we move. When you had that imagery of the river moving and the things start to build up, you can't just bust through that, right? That's just the impulsive mood. I'm just gonna just charge the wall. You got to sit there for a moment and think.
Mm,
Okay, first you got to identify what exactly has built up. So when I talk about my people who are the rest and reflect, what's built up? What is this? And
mm,
how is it making me feel? And how do I want to move past it? And
Mm-hmm.
then you have my people who move into that next stage where they're feeling froggy. Okay, we've assessed the situation. We know what we want to do. We know what this matter is that has built up. Now
Yeah.
let's start taking it apart. Let's
Yeah.
be strategic. And
Yeah.
when you're on the other side of that and you're
Mm-hmm.
taking the lead, you're back in command of your river and you're starting to flow again. How do you want to move? You know, how do you
Yeah.
want to move? Are you flowing? Is it a thunderous flow? Is it one that just
Right.
navigates? Is it smooth? So
Right.
yeah, yeah,
I love that. Yes, and we've got a an emphasis on the being authentic is critical for all generations. I
yeah.
100% agree with you, Dr. Michelle, and I think it is interesting. I will give the hat and the kudos to the millennial generation for like
Yes, I think
really.
we were the first to really step up,
Mhm.
and I like to say that millennials walked so Gen Z could run.
Mm,
Because I think we were really some of the first, and maybe it was just what was happening around us. We've had to be extremely adaptable because
yeah.
if you put like, I know how to work the Dewey Decimal System, but I can also build you a website. Like we're doing a lot, right? We are people who do a lot, and so I think we've had to be adaptable. But I feel like as a generation, we were the first to really put the flag down and say, you know what? I need something different. I need something else. And we have seen that reflected in the different things that people have been able to take the technology that we have found ourselves with and build out things. Look at us right now. When we were kids, could we have imagined this? You have your own show right
Listen.
now. You are sitting here and you come live to women every week and encourage them to be who they truly are.
Oh, thank you.
You're literally like, back in the day, all we had was Oprah. And
Listen,
you know, I love me some Oprah. But
listen.
look at what we're able to do. And so that is what really I think drives me is taking all of this opportunity for the elevation and saying we've got to leave that trepidation behind because we just have way too much that we can put our hands on and start to shape out what we want this to look like in the future.
This is where is the background thing?
I don't know how to make it happen.
Girl, it's so good. I love the grounding in that and the gratitude
Hmm.
and recognition of like there's so much
So
around
much.
you that if you do like again, it's a choice. It's a choice to
It's
stay
choice.
in the mid-career blues. That's a choice. If you're like, well, I'm
Yes.
just gonna be here. Oh, the river ain't flowing. I'm just stuck. I
I
let
can't. I can't. It just that is what really drives me. You know what really drives me? I've had just different life experiences that have just shifted the way that I've thought about the lives that we lead. And it bothers me to think I don't want anybody sitting and doing the same thing for the next 20 years and not feeling good about it.
mm,
Because ultimately, it's your life is in the balance there. And if you have the talent and you have the drive and the ambition, I recognize that sometimes the situation doesn't meet you where you are. But what I want you to know is you don't have to stay in that situation. You don't have to stay behind the dam that has built up. We can break through. It may take us a minute,
right.
but we can break through.
We can break through. Dog, this is phenomenal. Listen, people love that. That's right. Millennials walked in authenticity, so Gen Z could run. Yes, yes, yes. And people
Hmm.
are loving the fact Portia saying, you're offering long-term solutions that have lasting impact. And
Impact. Yes. Thank you,
that
Portia.
is huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. Um, and yes, millennials are one of the first generations to leave them jobs when they start acting up. This is very true.
I mean, whole articles, books have been written about it. Look, I think we just know like our lives are valuable, our time is valuable, and we want to spend it in a way that really resonates with who we are.
Yeah,
And I'm here for it.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. I know that. Okay, Miss Amber J, please tell the folks how they can connect with you, what's happening with you, and then how they can just be a part of your world and continue to get these gems. Because I know people, if you was coming into this conversation in them blues, I know you have been motivated to make a shift and get some momentum. So if they want to keep experiencing that, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yes, the best way to get in touch with me, follow me on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn, slide in my DMs. I don't bite. Say hello. Say
Yes.
hello. If you've caught this,
Slide
say
in my
hello.
DMs.
If you are curious and you're like, you know what, I want to learn more about coaching, I offer a complimentary discovery call for everyone who comes into my orbit. We will sit down, we will talk. I want to hear about you. I want to hear about your goals, what it is that you are going through, so that I can maybe suggest something for you that either is some coaching or maybe it's something else. I like to leave everyone who comes into my orbit, I want you to leave with something that is going to start that process of moving you forward. But I would say connecting with me on LinkedIn, all the links are set up. You can book a discovery call now. Follow me. I like to write. I pop up some kind of way. I make sparkles, but I would love to be. I would love to be in community with you all. So yeah, reach out.
I love it. I love it. And I've put a link to Amber's profile on LinkedIn in the comments. So definitely, like she said, pop them in these DMs. Don't be
Come
shy.
in, slide. Don't be shy. Slide in.
Her know, right? Let her know what resonated with you. And definitely pop in the comments right now, too, if you're able to. And please share at least one thing that Amber has dropped today that resonated with you, or you
Oh.
feel like you are going to take away to move forward. Amber, anything you want to leave for the good people as a final word?
As a final word, I would just say that you deserve to live the life that you want to live on your terms, and we can make that happen. So, what you want to do?
Not the lead in. Do you feel it? Did you feel it? Okay. Thank you so much. All
I
right.
leaned all the way in.
I hope you have felt seen, heard, and snatched in this conversation. Definitely reach out to Amber. Thank you so much
Thank you.
today.
Thank you for
Really
having me. I love this.
words. This is amazing. Listen, y'all, I want you to have a great rest of your day. Hope you do something to get yourself out of that funk. And guess what? I'm gonna see y'all next Wednesday at 9. Peace.